Rex is he's the first defensive coordinator or first defensive person to speak at this clinic in over 20 years. He's the only defensive guy to ever speak at this clinic. And he's going to go over, okay, what defensive coordinators and line coaches look at it, offensive line. He's going to go over how to defeat the drive block, the reach block, the down block, and double team blocks. He's going to give you stuff to beat the man side of protection as well as the slide side of the protection. He's going to give you some pass rush stuff, and he's got an hour and 10 minutes to do it. So I'm not going to blow his horn too much more. He's the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. He's been in the top 5 defenses the last I don't know how many years. Rex Ryan, Baltimore Ravens. Turn this someplace on you.
Okay, you guys good? Okay, everybody's got me. All right, first of all, as the only defensive coach ever at this clinic, you know, there's nothing like coming into a place where everybody can't stand your ass, so I appreciate that. It's great. I guess I was on the docket last year. I told Wiles that I had something else to do, and Alexander said it's because I never showed up because I was afraid of the Bengals. But anyway, I had to come this year because we're still a little afraid of the Bengals, but we're going to get over it. Today, you know, I guess Wiles wants me to talk about initially what we look for, you know, what kind of stuff as we're breaking down an offensive line, tips or whatever. I'm going to be real brief on this because, quite honestly, if we're going to go over some technique stuff, I'd like to go over that in some detail. So we'll go ahead and just give you a couple of shots on that. The first thing, obviously, when somebody said, well, how about, you know, personnel? Well, you know, what do you look for in an offensive lineman? If I was going out and I was at a college and I was trying to recruit an offensive lineman or something like that, generally here's the way I would do it. It's real technical. You take the guy that's kicking the shit out of the other guy, and you probably got a good one. But if you go realistically, on the level I'm at now, it's a size speed league. Okay, so generally, you know, you don't go, there are some exceptions. Like we have a guy, Kelly Gregg, that plays nose tackle for us, so he's like 6 foot tall and he weighs 310 pounds or something, short arms, all that kind of stuff. He wouldn't pass the look test at most high schools. Okay, so, you know, there are some exceptions, but you don't go chase the exceptions. You're trying to get things, you know, the height, you know, and size and all that kind of stuff. And it's a trickle-down effect. It's the same game. That's the beauty of it. So when you're looking out here, I see college coaches, pro coaches, and I see high school coaches out here. It's the same game. It's just we get paid a little more than some of the high school coaches, okay? Unless you're at Texas or something like that. But really, you want those big guys, but you just don't want a slug. You know, you want guys, when we're watching, we're looking at tape, we're always looking at who can move, who can, you know, can they bend at their ankles, can they bend at their knees, can they bend at their waist. You get those big slug guys look real pretty when you get them off the bus, but if they're always bending at the waist and can't bend their knees or can't bend at the ankles, that's usually the guy that we try to attack, okay? Obviously, you know, I'm not going to tell you how to, you know, do your techniques, all that kind of stuff, because quite honestly, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of great coaches out here who do a hell of a lot better job of that than I would. Some tips that we'd look for. You know, splits. Make sure you're looking at your splits. You know, if every time you run a power scheme and your guys are together, all right, and your guard is off the ball, it's a no-brainer for a defensive coach. You got to give a defensive coach some credit. Okay, we try to give you guys some credit, not much, but we try to give offensive line guys and all that credit as well. You're looking at the same thing we're looking at, okay? So you try not to be so obvious. And it is funny because even in the NFL, we played a team that every time the tight end was in a left-handed stance, it was a run. Every time he was in a right-handed stance, it was a pass. So you tell me, if that happens on the NFL level, it may happen wherever, you know, you're coaching as well. Other things, how much weight do they have on their hand? You know, is there a real tip? You got to look for everything. What we're looking for is everything, okay? So you'll even have, even if it's the offhand, maybe in an offhand, if it's a run, He may have his hand, his fist like that in a run. If it's a pass, maybe he's got it a little higher up on his hip or whatever. We look for anything like that. And I know you guys are looking for tips on the defensive line as well. Okay, it's the same thing, but we look for all that kind of stuff. How much weight he has on his front hand and all that kind of stuff. So little basic things like that. I'm going to give you some tips reverse that you can look for as some indicators for you real quick on defensive line.